What's good, y'all, man? We're back again with another video. I forgot to say this in my last video, but I want to put some more art back there too, just to make the wall look better. You see, I got that little Kobe skateboard right there. I got a LeBron one, but I have to find a piece to hang it up with. But I'm gonna make this setup look nice, man. I told y'all in my last video I need a new camera, so if you got some recommendations, let me know, because I need a camera back. Because this MacBook camera doesn't look that good as it used to be. So shout out to y'all if y'all do let me know. But shout out to y'all for watching my videos. Like I said, I've been getting a lot of views lately, so shout out to y'all. Now for this video, I want to talk about the Denver Nuggets, the team that I'm super high on. Really high on. When looking at this team, man, of course you have the two-time MVP, and now you're bringing in a lot of pieces that he needed last year. Like, when we're looking at this draft, I think they had a really good draft, and I think they made the right pick. Christian Braun, I almost forgot how good he was until I watched some college highlights, some college film. I forgot that he was just a polished player, one of the most NBA-ready players coming out of that draft. And he fell into the perfect situation where they're just going to need him to shoot, sometimes take the ball to the basket. He's really athletic, and this thick defense, and that's his strength. That's all the stuff that he does. So he's going to get a lot of minutes starting off. Like, you can't keep him on the bench. The same way Mike Malone did with Bones is going to be the same way with Christian Braun. He tried to put Bones on the bench. Starting off the year, he even put guys like Falcon, Campazzo over him just to like slow Bones into the lineup. But no, like, Bones earned his minutes quick, and then he was like, oh yeah, I have to play him a lot. Same thing with Christian Braun. You're going to need that. Peyton Watson, he might not get those minutes this year, but I see why they made that pick, because at his full potential, he can be a really, really good 3-and-D wing that can also get you some buckets on the back end. And then their additions in the offseason, getting Contavious Caldwell-Pope. I don't even remember that trade. I forgot about that. I just watched Bones Highland vlog the other day, and I was like, yo, why the fuck is KCP in this video? I was like, wait, oh, they did trade it for him. I don't know what the trade was for, but that was a perfect trade, because the last time this Nuggets team was really good is when they had a Contavious Caldwell-Pope player at the 2, and that was Gary Harris, a dude that was a really good 3-and-D wing, one of the best three-point shooters that was in the league. That's what KCP is now, and a really good perimeter defender. I think that's going to take them to the next level, just having that in the backcourt with the Bones Highland or with the Jamal Murray, whoever's starting, because I will talk about that later on in the video, that Jamal Murray should not be playing a lot of games. But that's a really good pickup, and then you get that with Bruce Brown. You sign him in the offseason. One of those hard guys like I talked about in my last video with PJ Tucker, a guy that can like set a standard for the team. Like, you see him working hard. Yeah, I want to do the same thing. He's always going to be diving for loose balls. He's always going to be really energetic, talking, trying to be a leader. That's what he did with the Nets. He was trying to kind of set a culture over there with the Nets, but you know, they had a lot of shit going on. But that's a really good addition, especially because he shot 40% from the 3. And I don't think that was a fluke year. I think he really shoot over 30% from the 3. He always had a decent shot, with just about the consistency and getting it down. So you sign him, and then you got this whole DeAndre Jordan signing. Now, I was confused why they didn't sign Boogie, but then I talked to a different Nuggets fan, and he said Boogie wanted a different role, which I don't understand. Boogie, why would you want a different role? This was your best year since the Pelicans. This is as much as you're going to get. I don't know why he wanted a different role. He wanted a bigger role, actually, I should say. And yeah, you're just not going to get that. But looking at this DeAndre Jordan signing, a lot of people don't like it. But for this team, I think it works pretty perfectly, because Bones in a pick and roll is really good. Now, the one thing that he's going to miss, actually it's not, because I have a point I want to make later, but the one thing he's going to miss with DeAndre Jordan, if I can say, is the pick and pop, because him and Boogie ran a lot of pick and pop. But as far as the pick and roll, Bones is a crafty passer where he can make any pass in the pick and roll to DeAndre Jordan. DeAndre Jordan has looked terrible over the years because he's been given a bigger role. He started with the Lakers. He started with the Nets. That's just not him. He's 34 years old. Let him go back and be a backup. And I think that's going to be really good for this team. I still think he's a decent defender. I wouldn't say he's good. I wouldn't say he's bad. I say he's a decent defender. And I think off the bench, he's going to be pretty good for them. And then the thing I said I want to save for right now is Zeke Naji. This is his year to show that he's a really talented player, because I see a lot of shit in his game that, like, off that bench, if you have a Zeke Naji and Bones combo off the bench and that works like that, that can be something down the line. I'm a huge fan of Zeke Naji, a power forward that can shoot from the three. Shot 40% last year, I believe. Really crafty in the post. It's just about getting stronger in the post was for him. He came in really scrawny, really small. But watching some highlights, watching some film, especially that vlog that him and that Bones just posted. They went a Denver Nuggets run at Aaron Gordon's house. And I was just watching Zeke Naji. He's gotten bigger. His handle has gotten better. Not saying he can carry all that to the league, but that's just stuff like that to see him actually getting better. I'm excited a lot for him this year, especially in that pick and roll with Bones. Bones is a really good pick and roll passer. Like, if you don't know, watch some highlights. Bones in the pick and roll is actually pretty good. So I'm really excited for that combo off the bench. But like I said, you got Christian Braun, Bones, Zeke Naji, DeAndre Jordan. Like, they have a decent team. And then when you're looking at the starters, like I said, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Aaron Gordon, he had a decent year last year. I think it looked bad at some points because he was a number 2. Like, those days has passed. He was a number 2 all the way back in the Magic days, but like he's just not that anymore. He's just a 3-and-D wing, really good defender, can get a bucket at times, but you don't want to see that in 82 games. So for him to go back to that 4th option role, I think he's gonna have a really good year. With Jamal Murray, if I'm them, I'm slowing it down as far as like ramping him back up to speed. I won't play him on back-to-backs. I won't play him long minutes. I'll say he should get like 28 to 29 minutes this year because, yes, the ACL injuries are not as bad as they were back in the day, but still, like, he's always been a player that plays on injuries, so you don't want them shits to start adding up, so I would ease him back into things. Let Bones play because you still have one of the best backup point guards in the league. Let Bones get some starting games where he's starting just to ease him back. Then when you get to that playoffs, you just let him loose. And we all know how he is in the playoffs. That bubble year is not an outlier. Like, the year before that, he was also dogging in the playoffs. So I'm not really worried about Jamal Murray. I still think he's gonna have a decent year, even with all that stuff I said they should do with him. Even if they don't do that, I think he'll have a decent year. I just hope they don't rush him back into things. I remember times when Jamal Murray would twist his ankle in games and Mike Malone would just look away. Just leave his ass out there. And if you know who Jamal Murray is, you know how crazy his background was as far as what his dad used to have him do back in the day. Like, do 100 push-ups in the snow and shit, work out in the snow. Like, he's built for all that stuff, but I just saying, like, slow it down a little bit. And then Michael Porter Jr., for this team to take the next step, he has to be one of the X Factors. I had 3 X Factors for this team. I didn't talk about them. Well, I talked about them, but I didn't say that they were X Factors. Of course, Bones Highland, and of course, Zeke Naji. I feel like if Zeke Naji can just come in there and shoot and score and play decent defense off the bench, they can have a really good squad. But in that starting lineup, Michael Porter Jr. is an X Factor because he needs to be locked in on defense. We know who he is on offense. I don't expect none of that to, like, decrease. I think he's still going to be one of the best shooters we have in this league. One of the best scorers we have in this league to shoot. Dude shot 54% from the field and 44% from the three. That's why he got that huge contract off of 1 year. Like, I realized that yesterday. He played in the bubble a little bit, but then the year after that, he had a dominant season and they gave him max money. I would have did the same shit. I'm not going to lie. But that was kind of crazy. But I'm not expecting him to come back any less from himself on the offensive side. But on defense, he has to step it up for this team to take the next step because that's the one thing where they kind of lack. They have decent defenders, but they're all pretty small. And if you're going up against Clippers, he's going to have to guard one of those threes. You can't put him on what's his name? Nicholas Batum. Are you going to put him on him? I guess that would work. But, like, who are you going to put on Kawhi? And who are you going to put on Paul George? You're going to put Kentavious on Paul George. You're going to put what? Jamal Murray on Kawhi? Oh, Aaron Gordon, I guess. But, like, even Kentavious on Paul George don't even sound nice. Like, he would dog him. So he has to lock in. He has to take that next step on defense because they're going to need it down the line when they're going against those wing-heavy teams. And it's a wings league, and he has to be a good defender. He's improved a lot, though. Like, he's not as bad as he was. He's still bad, but he was terrible at times. I would say he's gotten better as a one-on-one defender, but with young guys like him, Anthony Edwards, their thing is the off-ball defense where they lose it all. They lose it all. But he just has to come back and be a good defender. Now with Jokic, before I get into the ceiling of this team This where my YouTube shorts and my TikTok gonna come in. So let me get this all over. Hear me out. If Jokic averages the triple-double, now when we're looking at his stats last year, he averaged 26, he averaged 13, and he averaged 8 assists with like zero talent, zero elite talent around him. Now you bringing back Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. Now looking at this team, they're deep, they're fun, they're made for the regular season. They won 44 games last year with, like I said, no talent. Now you're bringing back the all-star caliber talent. And let's say this team jumps up 10 to 15 games to where they're winning like 58 games. And he's averaging a triple-double. Do y'all think Jokic can get an MVP? Because I think they have to give it to him because they just gave it to him when he was a 6 seed. If he's the number 1 seed averaging a triple-double, he has to be the MVP. He just has to. And I don't think that's crazy to say. I think he can make a triple-double. I think he can average a triple-double. I think we might get a Jokic having a triple-double this year. And I think we can get a Jokic winning 3 in a row. Like, he has to. If they don't give it to him and he does that shit, then, like, that's kind of wild. That's weird, actually. Because you give it to him, he's a 6 seed. I'm not saying he didn't deserve it, because I was one that said he deserved it. He was the MVP by far. But if he comes in, I'm expecting this team to be a number 1 seed. And I think he can jump up to averaging the triple-double. You have to give it to him. So, let me know how y'all think I did with this video. Let me know what y'all think about that last part. I think they have to do it. They have to do it if he comes back and does all those things. But other than that, man, got one more video to record. Talk to y'all later. Peace.